What is consciousness? That is a very good and difficult question. Ancient scriptures talk about 4 states of consciousness. The first state is dreamless sleep, a time when you are no longer yourself as a person, when all thoughts and emotions have subsided, and you simply reconnect to the universe as a whole. For in dreamless sleep, there is no perception. Yes, you have some sensory organs still on, like your ears, to make sure that if anything happens, you know about it, but there is no awareness of what's going on. So that is the deepest level of consciousness. The second level is dream state, where part of your awareness is still able to comprehend and witness what is going on in your mind as it is active in a REM state of sleep. And in these dreams, we notice they're inconsistent and broken into parts, and very strange and unusual patterns and behaviors come up. And then there is the normal wakeful state. That's just how we live everyday life, filled with thoughts and feelings and behaviors and sense perceptions and all of the sorts of things that we're used to in our everyday. But there is a fourth state called Turiye, meaning the awakened state. Now this state is one that most of us only experience for brief moments at a time, even when we're unaware of it. And this is actually the state of mindfulness, the state of presence, the state of being fully here in the now, as yourself, as the consciousness. Now the problem with consciousness is that it is not something that can be described, right? It is like the subject in a subject-object relationship. But it is the kind of subject that cannot really be spoken of in any meaningful way. Just as, how could you describe space? Well, emptiness, spaciousness, the place within or without. Similarly, if we think about the cosmos, the greatest space, how could there be an end to space? What happens at the end of space? It's an inconceivable question. And yet we know the universe is expanding, but that's a question for another time. Let's return back to this place of consciousness. One of the most mysterious and profound aspects of life is that the universe is conscious. How do I know that? Well, I'm conscious. So are you. So there must be something that is witnessing all of the reality that we experience. And even if everything that we experienced is a dream, as many philosophers have argued, or what's it called? Simulation, like we're living in the Matrix. Even if any of those were true, there would still have to be something that is aware of what is going on, even if what is going on does not reflect reality in any meaningful way. And so consciousness is primordial. It exists before everything else. And if you look deeply within yourself, you will find that it is the essence of your being. It is an unchanging, everlasting, timeless stillness within you. something that you cannot know except through direct experience. And it's not particularly hard to do. You can do it right now. In fact, now is the only time you can do it. For there is only the now. So how do we experience this consciousness, the fourth state? Well, there are many portals or avenues or ways that we can get there. I use get there loosely because, language is really complicated. How do you, again, describe something that is not conceptual? And so we sit, and the first thing we can do is we notice our sense perceptions. What are we seeing right now? What are you hearing? And notice as I pose that question to you, there is a moment of silence, of just awareness, of just taking it in before the mind processes it as this or that thing and names it and judges it or questions it, likes it, dislikes it, doesn't matter, but there is that moment of just pure looking, pure seeing, or pure listening. And that is the state of just being aware. That is that fourth state. And if you're able to maintain this state, you suddenly create a distance between yourself and the thoughts that you have or the feelings that go through your body. So you're able to take a step back and remain as the conscious presence while thoughts go through your head. And there's all of a sudden a disidentification from the thoughts. It's like a one-step removal where we are no longer all consumed by the thoughts. We are no longer have our full attention in our minds, and instead we are able to say, I'm here, and these are the thoughts that are going through my mind. And that is such a liberation to be able to do that, because our minds and the thoughts that we create cause us so much suffering in this life. It enables us to really know who we are at the depths of our being. To be able to say, go away, fly. To be able to say, I am aware. But not even saying it in words. Just experience it and know that you are aware and you are alert. And in this alert stillness, there is a vitality of life and life-giving energy, a feeling of oneness and unity and connectedness with all things. For in doing so, if you look deeply within yourself and you remain in this place of being, this place of stillness, you become one with everything. And I know this sounds like an esoteric or mystical claim, but don't worry about that. Just experience it for yourself for a moment. Just now. What is it like to be you right here, right now? Are you able to be yourself as a conscious being? Right? In ordinary life, there are two dimensions to us that make us a human being. On the one hand, there is the human, the person with a personality, our history, our culture, our experiences. That's the life that we're accustomed to as humans. Our relationships, our life situation, all of those things. That's still true. That's still there. That's what makes us human. And yet we are also beings. And this being is the sense of awareness. Right? To be is another way of saying I am. Right? We don't say I be, we say I am. Right? And what am, or what is, because English is fun that way, is just stillness in the background. It is the ability to step back, step into being, and remain there as the world exists outside of you. And this is such a brilliant revelation to have, that you can step outside of your mind and you are not exclusively your thoughts and your feelings. In fact, you are far more than your thoughts and your feelings, which comprise just a fractional percentage of who you really are at your core, which is this essence of being. You know, an analogy that's often used is we think of ourselves as separate from all of life. And yet we are so essentially a part of life and the universe that it would be like saying that a wave is separate from the ocean. You know, we have a wave self who thinks of itself as separate and a unique, completely disconnected being in a foreign universe that comes into existence for a short time, moves, crashes, pushes some things about, and then recedes back into the ocean. And yet the wave is the ocean at the deepest level. It is just a small manifestation of the ocean. And so too are we like that with life itself, where we come into being, we are born, we grow, we do some things, we futz about in life, have some relationships, have some experiences, do this, do that, stress out a lot, and then we pass on. And yet we still remain as life itself. And life itself is this being that I'm speaking of. And so this is not something to try and believe or make yourself understand what I'm saying. Instead, just look within yourself and you will be able to discover the truth of what is being said here. That you are life. You are one with life. And life is brilliant. And it is manifesting itself through you at each moment, where we take the time to just be here and feel our alignment with life itself. Feel the oneness with life. Our ability to stay connected, stay present, be here, and find the truth of what this means. And so we begin to wake up. We begin to live our lives in this fourth state, in this state of enlightened awareness, where we continue to go about our days and do our things, and yet we are not so all consumed by them. We are able to return to this place of stillness within us at any moment, to recognize the truth and the beingness of this moment. So take this with you through your day and find out what it means for you and how it begins to transform your life.